out is that he has passed the halfway mark. So he is uh, in pole position to win the election. This is at the time when we are speaking. It almost seems that he has won the election. So that much is clear. It's not just about leads anymore.
Forex News has also projected that Donald Trump wins the presidential election 2024.
It's not just Fox News. I think all the other channels are also calling it. Some of them have not gone past the halfway mark as yet, but I think the trends suggest that the path for Kamala Harris presidency is becoming increasingly narrow, and it's almost getting blocked. And it looks like Donald Trump will become president for the second time, which is a remarkable comeback given that all the cases that were instituted against him, all the campaigns that were carried out against him, the hounding, the way he was being pushed against the wall, the kind of convictions that were made against him. All of that seems to have not mattered with the electorate in the United States, and the issues which he raised seem to have worked with the people, and that is why, if you see the number of votes he is getting, the kind of support he has got, I think it's becoming quite clear that he is going to be the 47th president of the United States.
If we talk about how is the Trump, if as the trend shows that he is going to win, will be beneficial for India and South Africa perspective?
See, I think we have to understand one thing in India, that this election was for the American president, not for the world president or the Indian president, first and foremost. So he will try and do whatever is best for the United States. There will be some things in which I think India will benefit, and there will be other things in which I think there will be challenges for India. So, for example, Trump is not going to be an interventionist president. He is not, unlike the Democrats who tend to interfere in different countries, indulge in regime change. We've seen that in Bangladesh, for example. They want to dictate what happens in different countries. He is not going to probably go down that road, which is a good thing, so countries can manage their own affairs. Secondly, I think in terms of his foreign policy agenda, we'll have to wait and see what he does, for example, on the Russian-Ukraine front. The expectation is that some of the American funding is going to stop, and he will push for some kind of a cessation of hostilities. I don't think we are going to go in for, or there is any possibility of any kind of a reconciliation between Russia and Ukraine, but maybe we will see the fighting stop. That is a hope. But on the other hand, in the Middle East, we could see Trump actually double down behind Israel, and we could see hostilities or tensions in the Middle East become even more severe than what they already are, because he has taken a very tough line against Iran. So it'll be a kind of a mixed bag as far as foreign policy is concerned. There are expectations that he will be tough on China, which is not exactly a bad thing for us, provided he is, or we are able to, strengthen organizations like the Quad. And that gives India some room for maneuver between the United States and China. And one of the reasons maybe we've also seen a border agreement between India and China is that there were expectations even in China that if tensions with the United States are going to be ratcheted up, then it is better to cool down, the border tensions with India. Maybe that was one of the calculations. So that's on the foreign policy front. But then there is the trade front, on which Trump is very clear that he seeks equitable kind of trading relationships, which means that there is a possibility of tariffs going up. which could impact on Indian exports and India's trade with the United States. Uh, but look, the other way of looking at it is that he's going to be very transactional, which means that it also gives India some room for negotiations. That in some things, if we are conceding, in other things, we will gain something. So I think on balance, that's not necessarily going to be a very bad thing for us. And that is something we should be ready for. Uh, Third, I think if Trump is going to be a very transactional president, I don't see much of a problem in it because ultimately all international relations are transactional. So I don't foresee much of a problem on that count. So we'll have to wait and see how ultimately things work out. But I think one positive which could emerge, we'll have to wait and see, is that many of Trump's big backers have been quite well disposed towards India. There is Tulsi Gabbard, there is Vivek Ramaswamy, a number of others who have backed him. He also seems to have a chemistry with Prime Minister Modi. Um, that does not mean that we get free lunches from the United States, but yes, there is that chemistry which is already existing. So I think there are a whole lot of positives if Trump becomes the president.
I see that despite of having good relationship with US and Mr. Trump also, we can see that there is a Khalistani supporters network, and Trump has also said that he will work against these people. So how do you see if he wins the election, it will be beneficial for us?
So I think this will be a factor. This will be an issue that will continue to crop up between India and the United States. Maybe we will see, the way the Americans were trying to turn some of the screws on us on this whole issue. Maybe we will see, some kind of a backtracking on that. There is a good possibility that he will tighten the screws, for example, on Canada. And there is a lot of trepidation in the Canadian government right now on what happens if Trump wins. So, for example, you have people like Trudeau and that entire Khalistani mafia which is ruling in Canada having serious concerns in the event of a Trump presidency, which is something that could work in our favor. But I think even more than the Khalistani issue, something which we can negotiate with the Americans, especially the kind of death threats, the threats to bomb aircraft, which people like Pannu and others have been making, the kind of violence, the transnational criminal syndicates that are being run both within the United States and Canada. Maybe we will see some progress on that particular issue. We could also see some progress in the case of Bangladesh, where a favorite plant of the Democratic Party, Muhammad Yunus, the so-called Nobel laureate, who's seen to be a lackey of the American deep state. Maybe we will see some progress out there as well, because India had a very strong position that bringing people like him in will cause a lot of problems and instability in the region. So we'll have to wait and see, once his cabinet is announced, once the cabinet is announced, once we see who are the people manning the various positions in the American system, and then once the negotiations start, we'll have to see how that ball rolls. But again, like I said, there are positives that we can look forward to. There will also be some headwinds that we should not ignore, and that we will have to stand up against.